Kingmaker.
How much did you guys do, or have you just gotten setup done?
We just finished setup. We put these things out, and I was going to go through setup on the book.
And it looks like, based on the way the battlefield is set up, we have the light side of the forest and the separatist armies. Beautiful. Okay, so on your turn, let's start with the turn because none of the other stuff is going to matter without knowing what you do on your turn. At the beginning half of the turn, you guys are each going to be choosing 4 cards from your hand. Each deck, you're going to draw up 5 cards from each deck at the beginning of the game, and then you have a hand of 10 cards. Then you're going to choose 4 of those cards to play on your turn. You set them down in the order of reveal.
Can it be any 4 or 2 from each?
Any 4 from the whole set.
That's a correction that
the whole hand. They can be any 4 in any order you choose. You just have to preset the order. So your cards are going to be set, and you flip the top one, and that's what you're playing. And so is Ron. You guys are going to alternate back and forth and do so. So at the beginning of the game, a lot of things that happen real fast is a lot of Jedi cards get played. A lot of Darth Maul, a lot of Jedi starts to happen because once this fight resolves, this little gray door opens, and then whoever wins this fight can come out into the palace and start wrecking stuff in here.
And these guys are pretty powerful when it comes
all
to...
All of them are, yes.
Yeah.
The main object of the game is to have an outnumbered pair of these 2 guys, the Nemoidian... Viceroys, thank you. At the end of the game. And the real end of the game is when Anakin hits this last space as he's traveled through and fought stuff in space. Once the Anakin ship hits this space, every droid shuts down and is removed from the game.
So that would be the battle droids, the destroy droids, everything out here?
Everything on the Imperial side that's not Darth Maul is shut down and removed from game as soon as this hits that. You want to do this as quickly as you possibly can, obviously because it kills Ron's droids and stuff, but the overall goal is to have more than 2 guys left alive on your team in the palace area when this happens. Because if Ron has the ability to, before you get here, kill all but 2 guys, so it would be equal to Viceroys and 2 of your figures, that's still a little loss for you. So
that's the only way I can win.
That's the only way you can win, is kill everything in the palace.
In the palace.
The battleship or the battle board is a completely separate entity, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let's see. So we talked about card choices. The stats for all the guys and the dice and stuff that they roll is cool. Figure movement is important. When you reveal a card, say, I want something with soldiers on it. Say the palace over here. There's a purple queen and 3 palace guards that you can use to move this card. Pay attention to the ors and ands on the card too, because most of them say or, but there are some that say and on them, like this one, purple queen and palace guards. And some of them are segmented, so you'll get this or this, and sometimes this will be an and as well, so you get to do the whole card depending on what it's going to go. As far as palace guard movement goes, which is the one that we want to talk about, or any figure movement, you get to move that guy up to its number of spaces and then attack with it. And you do, even though you've got 4 palace guards that you can run, you resolve each figure individually. Move, then attack. Roll the appropriate dice. Hits mean hits. For the most part, everything droid and soldier-wise, palace guard-wise, are 1 hit point figures, and everybody else has a health tracker that's important. The way that the health trackers make sense are that they... Oh, this is an odd mix-up. There we go. We're going to use this one for Panaka. That's what's going on there. This is an extra one. The way that the health trackers work are they start on one side. As soon as they hit the red, your dude's dead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or, I guess, all the way past. Whichever way you want to play it. If you're playing from here, they're gone. The queen is a cool thing. You notice there's a red and a purple one. Red for the diamond, purple for the diamond there. Before the beginning of the game starts, you may choose which one of these is actually the queen and which one of them is her handmaiden. And then if the one chosen as queen is killed, and we reveal it after either one of these is dropped to the 0 point, reveal that and find out if it's the queen or not. If it is the queen, say it was this one, if it is the queen, the palace guards have limited movement for the rest of the turn. It's like a demoralized thing that happens. They only get half their movement.
So you kind of want to protect her, but without revealing who it is to a certain point.
That's how the queen situation goes. So you keep that a secret from Ron and keep those both flipped face down.
These guys have line of sight that they have to worry about.
Yeah, line of sight is basically, in the palace, is as long as you have a straight line to something, you can shoot at it. There's no distance issue.
Center of hex to center to hex.
Yeah.
Are these pillars that you
Those pillars do block line of sight. Window ledge movement is a fun thing. Here we go. Anything that says window ledge movement means any of those guards or queen on the card can move a space at the window ledge. Remember the movie they had those ascension guns, the grapple guns like Batman? If they're in a window space like this, one movement can be spent to move directly above, two can be spent directly above. So one per floor. Different people play different ways. Some people like to hide their palace guards over here to keep them out of line of sight to try and keep people alive for the end of the game. Some people like to storm the top of the castle, just get a bunch of palace guards in there. The Nemoidian dudes never fight back. They just stand there.
But the one of the end game conditions for him is to have more people up here alive, right? Just
Correct.
on this level.
Yes, and basically the reason that location moment matters is if it's down to the wire and Darth Maul is in the palace, the reason you want to have the outnumber thing in here is if you can get them there and Darth Maul is still alive, the game will end when that happens if you've got the outnumber here. But if Darth Maul is dead, there's no other threat in the palace once the droids are shut down. Does that make sense?
No.
Say the Jedi win the fight, right? Darth Maul is falling down the pit. Jedi are out in here running around.
Mm-hmm.
This Anakin hits here, all the droids are wiped.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one left in the palace but these two guys. You could spend 10 minutes alternating turns doing nothing on the Separatist side because there's no droids left and move guards and stuff up into the throne room. Or you could just call it because that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
If Darth Maul, however, has won the fight and he's running around and he is chopping dudes in half and you have a very limited number of palace guards, you need to play that out. But if Darth Maul's dead at that point, the game ends, pretty much. If he's alive, you will still try to do that race to the palace guard, and then I think there'll be something specific in the rulebook. Here is the difficult thing that I have had a hard time teaching my friends because I usually forget little rules. The battlefield side. These cards work just like the palace side. You just follow the directions, do what it says, and get to attack with what it does. The range matters on here. The shield matters on here until the shield is brought down. Anything in or out of the shield, or both in and out of the shield, you see there's several hexes right here, count as both in and out of the shield. So anything from this side can shoot at those spaces, and anything from this side can shoot at those spaces. Don't let me forget about bonus cards, but I'm going to talk a little bit about these real fast. Things have health bars. Catapults are beautiful for the battlefield. These will keep you just blowing hexes up, and it's fantastic. These tanks, I've never seen them engage for any reason, but they do, if there's a space in front of them open, have the ability to bring out more droids into the field once you've got some pieces that have been killed later on. These are nasty. They're horribly nasty. Watch out for them. That's basically the only advice I can give you about it. The Fambas are the big dudes that generate your shield. I'm sorry, not Fambas. Yeah, Famba. When both are alive, this shield is active, up and running. If one Famba is killed, the whole shield goes down. Because of their cool, technological thing that's powering there. They need to be meeting that laser beam or whatever. But if one Famba's dead, the shield is no longer available, and attack tanks really start to matter. Because they can't move through the shield, or shoot through the shield. But once a Famba's down, they can. Anything else can walk through the shield all at once. Destroyer droids are nasty, because they roll 4 red dice for 2 destroyer droids total. And the red dice are your nasty dice in the game. They have double hits on them. They have the most hits on any dice. The gray dice are 50-50s. Say I'm attacking with this droid group at these 2 Kadu riders over here. I get to roll 1, 2, 3, 4 gray dice attacking whatever it is that I am. And their range... Battle droids have a range of 1, so they would be in this space to attack these guys. Hits matter. Fambas also get to roll... Kadu riders also get to roll their defense dice. Kadu rider, move, attack, defense... 1 blue for each rider that's in there. So they roll 2 blues. The dice have double hits, single hits, and then the 3 types of defense dice. That's a shield. That's a double block. Shields basically cancel hits. That's all that they do. The yellow one and the green one represent different defense values. The Jedi get to roll, I think, a blue
Over here.
and a green. Green representing the Force. On the green defense die, there's also a riposte. So if you roll this when you defend with the Jedi, you hit back 1 hit worth of whatever hits you, which is pretty cool.
So if I'm attacking you, David, with Darth Maul, and your Jedi, you roll that as for the defense dice, that would hit me, because normally you don't get a hit up when you're just defending yourself, but Jedi are special.
Darth Maul rolls the Force die and the gold die as his defense. His defense is not quite as good. There's only 2 blocks on here. There's 2 blocks on here. Actually, no. His die's better. There's 2 blocks, but one of them is a double. This one just has 2 blocks on it.
Which is okay, because it's 2 against 1.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The yellow also apply to some vehicles and stuff, too, as their defenses and things. But I think that's a basic layout of what happens. Oh, bonus cards.
Yes.
The battlefield is used to generate bonus cards on your turn. If you kill a hex worth of stuff, that means if the whole hex is cleared out, that doesn't matter if it started with 4 pieces of plastic or 1, when that hex is emptied, you may draw a card from either one of your decks and place it in a separate spot so that next turn you'll just have a couple of, and they will go face down. You don't know what's coming. You'll have an extra card that you get to play after you've done your 4 main cards.
Goes to the bottom of your deck.
So the more crap you kill over here,
you won't know what they are.
Right.
Correct.
But still,
The more crap you kill over here, the more turns you get.
Yeah.
Whenever a Jedi is killed, I believe Ron's going to get like 3 bonus cards for his next round, and if Darth Maul is killed, you're going to get 5 bonus cards for your next round.
Yeah, and it's all in these charts, so that'll help us keep track.
Basically, it's just extra turns. The first player piece, I think it does start with the Separatists, doesn't it?
I'll have to look.
Just means that Ron's going to get to go first. So he'll resolve a card, you'll resolve a card until you're done with all your cards, going back and forth, and then next turn it'll be you're starting, David, and then Ron back and forth and back and forth. And this trades every time. That's the game.
Well, you missed. Nope, you got the attack.
You're right. We talked about the Jedi fight, but the most important thing about how Anakin moves is these battle grids. We're going to need some gray dice to display this. When you play an Anakin card, and Anakin cards are only in the battlefield. That's another thing to note about. The battlefield-related cards have Anakin and Starfighter cards in them. Ron can play Starfighter cards to draw a card off of the Starfighter deck and place it in any of the Starfighter card locations. You get any one you want.
Okay.
So if you want to just stack them up on here, you can, or if you want to spread them out, anytime you can. We'll talk about those cards in a second. But when you say play an Anakin card, I'm going to move Anakin. Where's the 2d6? We need the standard one. These are basically going to stay with you, David, for the whole game. Ron is then going to check either the space or the top card of this location, roll X amount of gray dice. In this case, he's going to roll 2 gray dice. And any hits he gets can be placed in any location on this area that he wants. You see how there's 1, 2, 3 Starfighter icons over there? Those are blocks. That means if you roll on your d6 after he's placed dice, that 6 there, if you hit a clear space, Anakin advances. If he moves, the Anakin attempt is over. The other thing that happens is, say he rolled a 7. 7. Where's the 4? If he rolled a 7, I have blocked the 7 with one of my successes. Also counts as a block. He does not move.
So I'm trying to put as many blocks in any one of these to slow you down from getting through. Because the only way you pass through is to roll a combination of the dice that have an open number.
The one thing
Does
that
that make
messes
sense
with that,
or not? If it doesn't, let's go over it again.
the thing that messes with that are the Starfighter cards. And you can have as many as you want in a stack. And if there are cards, as long as you roll successes on those cards, that 5 gets through. You discard that card, and you attempt the next one in the stack until Anakin either bumps and hits a ship and stops, or he moves. So if he rolls and misses, or rolls and gets engaged with a fighter, he does not move, and the Anakin attempt is over. And if he rolls and gets through a card, he may proceed and continue rolling on that space until he either stops or moves.
If I have a situation like this, and I draw to place a card, can I put a card down here and keep this on top of the 6? Or would I have to use another open space?
Basically, every time Anakin attempts a card or a space's location, you roll new dice.
No. Let's say the turn prior to that, I'd put that down, and he didn't make it. So the next turn, I get a Starfighter card, so I draw one of these cards. Can I put it there?
These are not... Yes, you can, because these... Once that roll on that one attempt,
they go away.
The dice wipe.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And you only roll the dice when you're going to move Anakin. Yeah. So I move Anakin, you roll dice, you place dice, he rolls dice, resolve it, and then the whole thing gets wiped. If there are cards there, the card stays until you beat the card.
If he beats the card, he gets to roll again?
If he beats a card, he may continue. If he stops, he stops.
But if he beats all the cards and that
space, he may continue to move.
Then his turn ends too, right?
So either he gets blocked or he advances and then he's done.
Okay.
And that, I believe, is the game. Jedi can only use up to the gray space here. Jedi have freaking 12 movement, so doesn't matter where you are on this track, or this area, someone can attack you. As far as one of the Jedi or Darth Maul.
Yeah, there are some cool Jedi or Darth Maul cards that allow you to attack twice.
Yep, the Rage cards. There's also healing cards in those decks. I mentioned that once the door opens, they can come out. And whenever fighting anyone who's not a Jedi, essentially, or who's not a Force user, the Force users have the ability, and they're the only pieces in the game that can do this. They can spend some of their movement and then say make an attack on a figure with as many of up to the 3 dice as they have. They essentially have 3 dice to attack with on their turn for attacks. So you can move 3 spaces, attack a card with 2 dice, and then move a few more spaces and then attack another droid or something with 1 die, and split up your attack and movement that way. But in this room it doesn't matter, because you want to spend as much as you can on the one guy you're attacking.
And then the last thing you would have to do is decide which one of these are the real queen. And then he should remember it.
And then shuffle up your
cards.
Your cards, and you're good to go. What's up, Oj?
Lexi, what's up?
Just getting some good teaching done. I love
Instructions
this game.
by Alex.
That's what we do.
If I was doing it, David, we'd be about halfway done.
Well, you remember how long it took me to explain Keymaker.
There's a reason Colby makes me teach stuff at Gen Con.
Okay, we ready? You think you're ready?
If you have any questions,
we'll just go slow.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Thanks, Alex.
Don't